everybody, and welcome to the DreamHack Summer 2013. How are you doing in control?
I'm doing well, thank you. How can you not be doing well after that great match? That was amazing.
That was amazing. And of course, I did go over there because I knew a camera was coming. I heard what you said in control.
I got you.
I heard what you said.
Hey, I feel like we could share everything if after what I've seen. You know what I mean?
We've seen a lot together. We've seen a lot together. I actually wanted to be on your team, so I decided to get this black T-shirt. I ordered it from the EG website, but it didn't come with the EG logo.
You guys want us to put an EG logo on him? Oh, mixed reviews.
Mixed. All right, we're going to be casting the third round of 16 game now, as we've got such a great round of 8 set up already. Yeah. We've got Jaedong versus Lucifron in the first one, and then Tasia going up against TLO in the second one.
Tasia did win his match then.
I'm pretty sure he did, yes. That was the last thing I was told.
I knew that he was lined up to play TLO, so he did win that, actually.
Let me just double, triple check. Yeah, okay.
So Tasia beat Todd.
Yeah, so it's Tasia versus TLO in the second quarterfinal. Jaedong versus Lucifron in the first quarterfinal. And now let's find out who's going to make it to the third quarterfinal here. Down in the bottom left, sporting as the red Protoss, it is Fnatic's Harstem. Oh, got his hood up.
The Dutchman.
The Flying Dutchman. He's got his hood up. He's ready to game. As he's going up against this guy, the last remaining Swedish player in the tournament. It is Team Property's Sjow. Very surprising he's up there at this far in the tournament, to be honest.
It really is. And, you know, he actually took a little bit of a break from StarCraft following the departure from Team Dignitas, only to come back to us. And it seems like he's back in form. I mean, this is a really nice result, but I've seen his name in and around a few other tournaments, so he's starting to be, once again, one of those really productive Terrans in that European scene, which is great because a lot of people complain about the lack of Terrans, actually, specifically in the European scene, but really in the foreigner scene in general.
I mean, Sjow, it's so funny. If we look at his history, he was an IEM European champion. He also won an IESF tournament, The Gathering. He won like 3 StarCraft 2 tournaments back in 2011.
And Infinity Online tournaments.
And Infinity Online tournaments. But come 2012, he was one of the Terran players, that had the most trouble against Zerg. Just couldn't beat them, no matter how hard he tried. Yeah. And that was the main reason he left the StarCraft 2 scene to go play poker, go play Diablo 3, probably play a bit of WoW as well, knowing him, and just do whatever he wanted to do. But come Heart of the Swarm release, he immediately came back.
Yeah. There's a joke to be made here somewhere, but I won't take it. I won't make the Hellbat or Widowmine or Speed Backdrop joke. He's doing really well right now in Heart of the Swarm as a Terran player. Double gas opening up from Harstem. That's not necessarily the most strange things. We're seeing a lot of that in PvT. Typically what this indicates is that you still can one gate expand, but behind that you can add a fairly fast Stargate for Oracle play, or Blink Stalker, very common here as well. And if you want to get away from the kind of more timing / cheese-oriented openings, you could just actually have enough gas for a timely robo, more sentries earlier on, which again gives you access to things like hallucinations.
Well, we do have a second barracks coming down here by Sjow. He's going to be trying to go up to a total of 5 Reapers before expanding. A bit of an investment with his resources. Yeah, that's the way that this should play out, at least. Go up to roughly 5 Reapers, then expand. With 5 Reapers, you're almost one-shotting a probe, if I'm not mistaken. With 5,
well,
I think.
More than that. I think
is it how many? Is it 4? Okay, so he's definitely one-shotting a probe by then. And if he can even pick down a Stalker if he macros
yes, he
well.
Could.
So it's a decent investment, but he's got to be very careful. Oh, actually, the Zealot was going to be made but then cancelled, so he has absolutely no units to even stop this Reaper.
And this is actually a form of a counter, basically. That cancelled Zealot has become something of a common thing that Protoss players are doing right now. I'm unfortunately not able to report to know why, but I will tell you that when that Zealot gets cancelled, this is a painful chunk of time right now. Harstem had some mismining probes. He's already lost 1. He's en route to lose another, and this Reaper should just skedaddle out and heal as if nothing had happened to it.
And it's got 3 kills under its belt, and there's going to be a couple more Reapers coming to join it in a couple of moments here. 1 Reaper did go to the top left to scout if there was any hidden pile on a proxy, Twilight Council, whatever, but now they're going to join forces together. And they're going to just bypass the Stalker, if not kill it if it's in its way. Has to be careful with the Mothership Core, though. Of course, Reapers can't shoot up, but he's definitely looking for more kills.
He did opt for the Stalker, though, to your point. So the Stalker Mothership Core should create a unit force here that's like, you know what? Not too much more is going to happen. And with this 3rd and 4th Reaper showing up, I feel like the success of the first Reaper might be damning these additional Reapers. I mean, we'll wait and see if I'm correct on that, but I feel like that Stalker might otherwise be out on the map, but in this case, it's like, nope, I'm staying at home.
All right, well, one Reaper does go down. A second one goes down. Oh, actually gets back. The third one gets back there. So 2 Reapers do remain. It looks like he's going to not lose that one either. Wow, keeps all 3 Reapers alive while bringing down that Stalker. So a bit of pressure coming in here by Harstem. And behind this, he has expanded. Sjow, that is. He's got his tech lab, got his reactor, got his engineering made down for his +1 attack. And so far, so good for the Swedish player.
Yeah, he traded a Reaper for a Stalker, which, of course, is advantageous for the Terran player. And with the 3 probe kills before that, definitely you can say that this is a win so far. I think where we start to be like, I'm not so sure about, like, the Reapers are now, not necessarily now, but very soon, kind of pointless, actually. Like, they will give you a semblance of map control. They do have the ability to pop in, maybe kill another probe, but that's about it. You don't like, talk about the inclusion of Reapers in mid-game compositions and be like, well, I don't know, they're actually really good against Zealots. No, you'd rather not have them.
All right, well, we do have this +1 attack coming down, and behind this, Harstem decided to throw down 2 extra gateways instead of going up to a robotics facility straight away here. Whether that's just feeling the pressure from this or whether he's going to turn around and try to be aggressive himself. He does have a probe out on the map, but that's going to get spotted really easy if it goes past the Reapers.
It looks like it might skip past, but to be honest, I like this. Basically, you want to go Robo earlier on in your more standard PvT just because Widowmine drops, Hellbat play, and even Hellion play is very common, so you want to have that early detection, but also access to things like Immortals. But he sees up to 4 Reapers. He knows there's no Hellbat drop incoming. He knows there's no Widowmine drop incoming, at least not for a very long chunk of time. Like, maybe it's a mid-game decision that Sjow will revisit, but for right now, it's okay to have 3 gates, then the Robo.
Another Reaper does go down here. Just like to talk a little bit about Harstem's run in this tournament as this game's starting to settle down a little bit. He's had such a good run here. He was able to go through the second group stage, 3-0, beating out Feast 2-0, and then Lucifron 2-1. And then he made it through the third group stage as well. And, well, this Reaper's found the hidden pylon, it's found the gateways, or knows about the gateways, knows about the sentry's been warped in.
Yeah.
A bunker is coming down a little bit late here. Stim is done.
Only 2 medevacs incoming, but they just now got started. I mean, Sjow getting caught with his hand in the cookie jar just a little bit. Go ahead and take it, apparently I'm fine.
Get that out of you, Jeff. Get that out of you. As we do have the Marauders and Marines.
The bunker's late. That's what I was trying to
Oh, look at those force fields, though.
That's what I'm trying to say. Show's in a little bit of trouble. God dang it. All right, I'm back. That bunker on the high ground will never be realized. Again, that's the power of the Mothership Core. It's able to spot up there where otherwise an observer would have to do that. And I'm sorry to everyone that is like phlegmophobe. That was gross.
Be really careful here. I mean, the stim activated. There's medivacs here too. I mean,
this shouldn't be game ending, but it's doing damage, a lot of damage.
And the Mothership Core goes down. He's going to lose all the sentries, all the stalkers here. And the stim. So these units, I mean, they shouldn't really get away.
Paulo, how do you rate that attack? I feel like it was bad.
Yeah, I don't think he should have done that. He has no sentries left anymore. Let's have a quick look. He's got 1 sentry left on the map, so he's got hardly any force fields to. There's a single sentry. He's got hardly any force fields to keep the units away from sprinting towards the Colossus.
I'm a fan of the intention. Like, I liked that, there was no bunker, so he's forcing kind of that reaction out from Sjow. I like that perhaps if he was a little bit more hesitant instead of diving into the natural, he really slows down Sjow, shows pulling SCVs, shows stimming Marines. He's not dropping. He's not out on the map. Like, that's the stuff that Terran doesn't want to be doing. But by losing those sentries in the Mothership Core, I feel like the gas invested in that attack did not pay off. And Harstem, with a good idea, actually gets his ass bit a little bit there. Whoa, what is this? Yowzers.
Yowzers is that single Colossus. Doesn't have thermal ant spin research. He's got another one being built. A 3 medivac drop headed towards the main here.
Yeah, we call that a doomsday drop, my friend. This is, and Harstem's out on the map. I mean, he's going to come back. He sniffs this out somehow. Nope, never mind. He's just kind of seesawing.
All right, well, the Mothership Core is there. Phone overcharge will help, but not that much here. And if he loses the Nexus, because there are 4 Marauders in there, that would kind of be big. He's targeting it down now. It's shields. No.
He actually is a little bit inside the base. 1 medevac doesn't go down, but there's enough here to remove them. Good focus fire from Harstem, though. Another medevac test. The Colossus stepped too far forward. Only 1 medevac escapes. And I feel like if that Colossus hadn't died, that's a win for Harstem. But with 1 Colossus dying and you're on 2 base, there's no upgrades behind this. There's no DT, no Blink. There's no X Factor. While Sjow does have kind of a small army, he's moving towards his 3rd. I think that was a good attack for him.
That Colossus is at the front.
What are you doing? Yeah.
And he's going to retreat here. Remember, there's no forges down whatsoever here for Harstem. He's got no upgrades. No upgrades whatsoever. Only at 42 probes now. He's moving across the map. He's stopped pro production. He's warping in a bunch of units. I'm not sure if this is the best decision here.
No, we've seen this a few times on this map. Like, Neoplanet S, Protoss seem to agree that this is a map you can try to do this on, and it does work from time to time. I mean, Sjow, once again, he canceled his bunker, so this is actually a dangerous moment for Sjow. He's got nothing. His army's going to get pinned back, a couple of force fields, and they do nothing.
Oh, the Vikings really need to go down here. That Colossus goes down. This is a bit easy. The units are 1-1 for the Bioforce here. Marauder's doing a lot of damage.
Wow. Well, if the Colossus dies, this looks very different, and I think it will die. Actually, Harstem's having a tough time. Yeah, it does go down. So he's killed a lot of SCVs, but he's lost his army. Again, I want to revisit what we talked about in the series before. There it is, GG. Protoss cannot lose their army off of 2 base. When that happens, they are dead.
All right, Sjow gets map number 1 of this best of 3. One more game away from making it into the quarterfinals. The round of 8, which will be happening live here at 4 o'clock local time, which is just in a couple of hours. As you can see, it's 20 past 1 at this point. In a couple of hours' time, that show will go live, and will Sjow be a part of the show. You had to do it. I don't follow you even for a second. I wonder Sjow's reaction to the puns with his name, because my name, as In Control, I can tell you, there's been a lot of clever puns out there with my name. Really clever ones. And it does get old. I'm pretty sure that that Sjow actually endorsed one of the puns. Because I wouldn't be. I think he had a T-shirt, or at least it was under it. A lot of the tournaments he entered or did well in, he was like, "It's showtime." Yeah, you can embrace it. That's one of the things you can do. All right, so Harstem getting a couple of words of advice here before going into this next map. Remember, if Harstem makes it to the round of 8 here, I'd go as far as say that's one of his biggest results in his StarCraft 2 career if he makes it past this stage. He did win the Dutch StarCraft 2 League over Red a couple of weeks back. Very good accomplishment. But I mean, that's a good accomplishment, but it's just, in my opinion, a single player that he defeated. In this tournament, there's a lot of good players here. A lot of good players. And to make it to the top 16 already is a good accomplishment. To make it to the round of 8, into the prize money, $1,500, the WCS points for the chance to go to the semifinals where you automatically qualify for DreamHack Winter at the end of the year, that's a big, big opportunity for him. You're absolutely right. There's a lot on the line. He's got his back up against the wall. Sjow kind of stealing the scene a little bit right now. Like, Sjow just came back a couple months ago, and all of a sudden he's the guy as the final Swede who could be making this big show. You know, once it's in your head, you can't stop saying it. Well, it's really difficult because DreamHack call it the show, and then we're kind of casting this guy called Sjow, so it's kind of difficult. Would have liked it if another Swede could have. No, to each their own. Sjow deserves to be here. Team Property and all Sjow's fans like I'm rooting against him. Just say that. No, I take it back. Is he rooting against this last Swede and wish that Thorstein was up here instead? But he is the last Swedish player, considering the amount of Swedish players there are in this tournament, or had been in this tournament. Thorstein, Naniwa, Sortov, Vipro, and for Sjow to come out on top, very few people expected this, in all honesty. Very few, I would say. Perhaps we'll get the chance to ask Sjow, because I feel like him and maybe a very few select others would be the only ones who would be like, yeah, I could have done it. And I'm not going to blame the people. I mean, Naniwa, big tournament winner. Thorstein, of course. Thorstein and Naniwa in that inter-Sweden tournament were the finals, so they kind of live up to their own hype. But Sean, tell me about who's playing. Well, if you didn't know already, let me tell you. Up here in the top left, it is, of course, Fnatic's Harstem. He's been working really hard recently, and I think the biggest motivation is WCS, so we can actually qualify into it. He's been playing in all the qualifiers, and it started to show in his results outside of WCS. But down here in the bottom right, the last remaining Swedish player from Team Property, it is Sjow. From what I've been told, Team Property is the root gaming of Sweden. How do you mean? They've got a lot of players. They don't have that much money. They bring in a lot of opportunities to players. Sjow's their biggest name on the team. Yeah. They signed. I feel like I've seen another couple of names on Team Prop who are really kind of big names. Snuffy's on there. Shout out to the random Twitter that constantly hates on Apollo and I when we cast. Team Property have so many players. They've got a lot of players. It's like 20-odd players or something. Cytoplasm, Runa is on the team as well. On the European ladder, though, at my level, which is like mid-high masters, I run into Team Property members all the time. There's so many of them. And then you've got the players as mentioned, the pro players, Sjow, Cytoplasm, Runa. But it's good. It's, you know, a Swedish-based organization that are pushing their players to play in Swedish tournaments, such as Esports SM, such as all the DreamHack events. It's good to see something small, really grassroots.
Actually, I mean, I really like your point. We'll get into this game, I swear to you guys, but for right now, I do want to build off that point because there's actually a lot of teams that have academy organizations as well. There's a lot of teams like your Root Gaming, like your property that, in my opinion, give hope to those guys. They're like, I want to try my career at professional StarCraft playing. And now more than ever, I feel like that's a possibility. So it's really cool. Shout out to those teams.
Yeah, I mean, with Challenger League out there for North America, for maybe a difficult situation for North America, there seems to be an invasion happening on that one.
You mean Korea too?
Well, of course, Europe. But look at this. We do have a Stargate down here.
Yeah.
I mean, I say Stargate,
there will be.
I saw the pylon, and in my brain, I'm like, all right, well, let's probably see the Stargate come down. And I said Stargate before anything else happened. But that's an incredibly early pylon.
Before Warpgate.
Yeah, it's done, before Warpgate's done. And it is going to be probably, you know, the super, super fast Stargate.
Yeah, and I think he did it without scouting, if I'm not mistaken. Well, no, he had to, because this map could be...
No, you know, I mean, it's in the middle of both locations, right? It's either vertical or cross, so he doesn't really need to scout. I guess he'll go ahead and scout now. But
oh, good point. Okay, yeah, because it can't be close spawns, top left, top right, right?
Yeah, so it's in the middle of both locations.
Right.
So he'll go scout the bottom left. And in all honesty, this is probably pretty good for Harstem, he scouts bottom left, to find that he's not there, because then he doesn't reveal the probe out in the map.
Yep.
So he doesn't even need to go scout his opponent now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. There's a pro and a con to that. Like, if you don't scout, Sjow now has the scent in the air. He's like, wait a second. Like, it's not the weirdest thing to not probe scout, but that does begin the thought process. So I wonder if Sjow does pick up on that. But for right now, we should see some Oracle play. And against this gasless opening, this CC first, followed up by the double racks. Now, of course, the gas being mined, but that's meaningless to our analysis for right now. The Oracle is going to be very powerful. Now, I do want to see, is it one Oracle or will it be two? I'd like him to go with the one and then follow it up with two. Yes. I was going to say like Coke or something like that, but then I wanted to say Quack, and then I just said nothing.
I think we'll see two. I'd like two. Because it's such an early Oracle, he's going to get damage done with the first one. He can definitely do more damage with the second one. Yeah. And then followed up with 3 gateways. This is perfect, I think, from Harstem here. He's got to be careful not to run into the bunker. Yeah. It's a little bit sloppy.
Bit of an all-in here. I do like it. He's going to skip past them because he doesn't want to initiate just yet because he knows he's got a ripe mineral line in here.
Where are you going? He's got the Marines.
He's going to kill the Marines. Oh. And he's going to get all 6. No, he's going to get all 6. Oh. Easy peasy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. And with that, there's no Marines on the field. He's going to go for a couple of SCVs with the last of his energy. And a second Oracle is, a third Oracle, excuse me. A second one's incoming, but there's even a third being made.
I can't see Sjow stopping this.
No.
With 3 gateways behind it as well, he's going to stop it. He's in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, he needs to not be mining gas right now. He needs an engineering bay. I mean, he knows he's in trouble. He knows he's starting stim right now, but he's got like 3 Marines out. No missile turrets, so he can't protect his mineral line. There is another barracks going down, but that's a pipe dream if I ever saw one. And basically, there's supposed to be a gateway component to this, but we might not even get there. This might just kill him.
The best part of all of this was that one guy in the Fnatic t-shirt that came up to Harstem behind him and put his hand on his shoulder. Go Oracles.
In
do
Oracles
the proxy Stargate.
Yeah. And this should be an insta-GG, basically. Those 3 Oracles, I wouldn't blame Sjow to just be like, all right, I'm done. Oh, I remember Sjow now. Remember this?
What?
He actually will stick in this game. He might even float his base away. Do you remember this about Sjow? This guy will not leave until you force him to.
I think 3 Oracles is forcing him to leave here.
You think so? Watch. You watch. He's like, I got mules, man.
He's going to use his balls to try and repair this bunker. Yeah. The bunker will eventually fall here. We'll definitely need 2 more Zealots coming in.
Yeah. If he can just get that bunker up on the high ground, he maybe will survive. Nope.
22 supply to 56. 3 Oracles that do incredible damage. And a Void Ray behind it as well.
Look at him. Look at him. He's kiting back with his Marines into the mineral line. He's pulling SCVs.
He has a heart of a lion.
He's got no Marines.
He has a heart of a warrior.
He does. He's going to go mine.
He will not surrender. He will not surrender.
With Stim gone, he knew he was dead. All right. It is all tied up.
He's back. All right, next game.
Next game?
DTs.
DTs. You're actually probably reading lips on a Grandmaster level. He's like, that was really good. Now make the invisible ones.
We'll see what comes out from Harstem. This series is tied up 1 apiece here as we get ready to go into the next game. I'm quite excited for this.
Getting robbed of spending more time with you.
I know. But we don't cast the next game either. This is our only one.
I think it is.
Because Nathanius comes back.
Nathanius steps back in.
Just looking at the bracket, so the winner of this game goes up against Startel Life in the quarterfinals.
Life did end up beating Tefl, huh?
That's right, 2-0, and apparently he made it look really easy.
I can't imagine.
Some may say the winner of Harstem and Sjow is a lamb to the slaughter. Some may say he's a warrior and will never give up and never surrender, and maybe able to take down such a legend. But Life is predicted to win the entire thing here.
That's the blessing and the curse that is Life. Every time you play him, unless you're like Innovation or Flash, you're not expected to win. So anything you do that's even slightly good gets glorified to the highest degree. Like Mini Razor in this tournament took a game off of Life and actually almost took game 3. He would have taken the series, which would have been that would have made his tournament. Mini Razor could have lost later in that round, but people would be still talking about Mini Razor right now. Even Pig, the Australian, ended up taking a game from Life and having a great series with him. So that's the good thing. You're playing somebody that can make you famous by doing much less, but you are also playing the best. I think Life might be the best.
The best here. We'll see. Harstem seems to be a little bit AFK at the moment, or at least watching the replay, going over some strategies with his coach. But as mentioned before, with Harstem, you know, he had a great set of results, but likewise has Sjow at this tournament. If we look at how Show's actually got to the round of 16, in the first round, the group stage, he was able to beat down Ret 2-1. I think it was one of the games we casted, or at least me and Nathanias did.
Yeah.
He then went on to group stage 2 and beat down Daishi, who's been performing very well recently, also Cyril from Finland. And in group stage 3, he just claimed that he was the better Swedish player remaining out of the guys left by going through Vipro and also Sort of 2-0 each.
And Sort of course, took, I think it was a top 16 at Stockholm. He had a very good performance there. He's also one of the household names of Sweden. He's making an appearance in those 3 and 4 places, which is a thing to say because Sweden has like 8 really good players and then 20 very good players. Like it's thick competition here. So yeah, nothing to take away from Sjow. He's had a great term as well.
Well, it's good to see Harstem starting to rise up the ranks within Holland and within the Netherlands, should I say, because it's always been Ret and Grubby, but now there's this kind of third wheel of the two that started to make his way to the top and could start to eventually challenge that. He's a very young guy. He's like 18 years old, Harstem. Yeah. He's got a long, long future ahead of him if he wants to stay in StarCraft 2. So we'll see what he can do here. He's about to go into the third map against Sjow. The winner of this banks themselves $1,500, 1,100 euros, whichever way you want to look at it, and WCS points and the chance to move on further into this DreamHack Open tournament.
I kind of remember when Harstem started to make a name for himself. You were commentating alongside TLO at the Good Studio produced Asus ROG event, if you remember that, in Finland. And Harstem actually, I don't think he made it out of, like, there was 2 group stages or something like that. I think he lost in the second one, but he commentated and played there. And he did really well for himself. And that was obviously not his best performance, but from there he started to get those better performances that really started to establish him as one of the better European players.
I remember that was the first time I met him, and he did some analysis with Too Good on that one replay. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, jeez.
And it took about 40 minutes.
It was thorough.
He was very thorough.
He was a good man and thorough.
All right, so down here for the last map of this best of 3 as the yellow Protoss, it is Fnatic's Harstem. What is he going to do here against this guy here in the top left of this map? It is the blue Terran Team Properties Sjow. Showtime, baby.
It is showtime.
It wouldn't be right, in all honesty, no disrespect to Harstem, it wouldn't be right to have a DreamHack tournament without at least one Swedish player in the round of 8. And this is the guy.
The Swedish audience very much so roots for the homeboy, or boys, as it often is, with how many good players are here. Of course, I'm a little bit sad that we actually didn't see Sauce at this tournament. He's another household name that is a guy we're kind of waiting to really break out and win one of these major tournaments because he's of that caliber, of that ilk. But he's won one here, is Sjow, and there is still a hope for a local guy to make it into that top 8, so we'll see if he can do that. Harstem, on the flip side, the pride of his team. It's worth mentioning that Fnatic has gone through some inter-team renovations, if you will. They were a very Korean-dominated squad, even purchasing a Korea training house. They've kind of moved back, and they've actually very much so vocalized that their intent is to become kind of a developing Western team. So their squad is much more European-based. But it's interesting because Harstem is one of the products of that kind of refocus, and it seems to be working out.
Yeah, I mean, just to note some of the old players that used to play for Fnatic: Rain, Bjorn, Moon, Alive, Oz, and now they have 4 players on their roster. Harstem, of course, here, Nama, Nightend, and Sase. Just 4 European players.
Yeah.
That's all they have right now.
And they actually had 2 Academy guys here, too. Mini Razor and Xanster played earlier on in group stage. And they recently signed the North American player that's made a name for himself in the WCS NA, Hello Kitty. So I really like what they're doing. I'm actually kind of a fan of any team that has that Academy because I'm really behind that idea. But let's get in the game here a little bit because that's an early pylon, Apollo.
I think that's more of a fake, though, than anything. Because I think that when the Reapers go in, or scouting SCV, because he doesn't know the Reapers are coming, right?
Right.
The scouting SCV goes in, sees one pylon, he's like, oh god, not again. And I think he tries maybe to freak out Sjow more than anything. Look at the pylon. Why would it make sense to put anything there? A Twilight Council, maybe. Stargate, absolutely not.
I think you're right. It was just the time to make that pylon, and he made it wherever he was on the map, not because he would then end up using it, but rather because of the scouting would reveal, oh no, there's one pylon.
Yeah. It's
going to be Oracle. And to your effect, Apollo, it's going to play out that way. This Reaper is about to pop in, see throbes on each of the gases, and only 2 pylons, and just now a Zealot coming out.
But can you afford a Sentry and a Mothership core while going for a fast Stargate?
You wouldn't make a Sentry.
And now he sees the Sentry.
So
it depends on how Show's reading this. He is still sending around a Reaper, if you see in the top right-hand side of this minimap, just to have a look around just in case. I mean, he has to be super, super careful. Cannot lose this. Remember, he loses this game, he's out of the tournament and moves down to the placement matches for the 9th to 12th spot for WCS points.
Yeah.
But obviously he wants to move on here. Both players do. We have exactly the same opening here for Sjow as game number 1.
I think the Sentry gave it up because he did check top right, which is one of the spots you check, but the other one would be that 9 o'clock base that's the otherwise 4th. That's a really great spot for a Stargate. Like, it's so good that it's kind of stupid to do it because it's too good. It usually gets checked. But I think Sjow didn't check it, which means that he's like, you know what? You're probably not doing that because I saw a Sentry in what looks like an expansion.
All right, well, these 4 Reapers, not the best map for Reapers here. It's kind of only one way to get in there. So we are going to see Sjow move forwards. He's going to try and get into the main base here. He's going to bunny hop that one and then take a shot right here and go up the ramp.
Not a lot in the way of defense. I mean, it is Zealot, Sentry, and just a single Stalker, so a lot of the DPS is not super rapid. Guardian Shield does go up, and all 4 of the Reapers do annoyingly disappear from here, which means they'll heal up. He does get a Guardian Shield out. So, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like the biggest of deals, but that could have been a hallucination. So, Harstem does remain in the dark for a little while longer, and that means that he's also playing Sjow, who's, like, capable of doing, like, a 1-base 5-Rex Marine SCV thing. Like, he's all over the board and that kind of stuff as well. Yeah,
I mean, he definitely has a big range of builds. I think that's one of the things that makes Sjow quite powerful as a player is because he is very unpredictable. So we are going to have to see a Chrono Boosted Out Observer to get across the map. On the other hand, Show's playing this quite normal, just 3 barracks, Engineering Bay down nice and early for that +1 attack, and the Factory coming in. The Reapers do come in, try to get a couple of probe kills.
Super annoying. I mean, only 100 resources lost in this game. Sjow has actually lost nothing thus far, so that is a couple of probes that have gone down. Not the biggest of deals, and when you consider the fact that those Reapers, again, as the game goes on, become less and less significant, it's a bit of a wash, is I guess what I'm trying to get at. They do give a semblance of map control. They will be absolute scouts in terms of, like, 3rd base. And at the back of Harstem's mind, he has to be like, well, I want to move out, but if I do, 4 Reapers could show up. So we're going to have another attack here. This could be the end of it, actually, the force fields.
Oh, yeah, nice second force field there. Just trap a couple of those Reapers in. So nice job there, Harstem. 1 Reaper gets away. Robotics Bay immediately thrown down here. So we are going to see a pretty much straight-up play from both players. I mean, normal kind of game.
Yeah. I like the single forge fairly early on. It actually went down about the same time as the Robo. That means he can start an upgrade like +1 armor here. And he could make a choice. He can either go with the Twilight Council, which is great because it gives you access to Blink, but also Tier 2 upgrades, in which case he could go for 2 armor. Or he could circumvent that and actually just go for +1 attack and hit that 1-1 in a really timely fashion because of how early he started off his single forge. Before he would ever attack, he would definitely have 1-1 upgrades, which is what you would normally have with double forge built later.
Well, we do have Sjow just moving out of factory here to get towards that 3rd base. To find out what's going on exactly.
That's interesting, by the way.
Don't see that too much.
No, in this day and age, that factory's actually being used. Widowmine's great defensively or even for drops, but probably more commonly, just adding Hellbats to your composition. We see Thorazane do that all the time. Sjow doesn't seem to be about it.
He's also not too much about combat shields either. I think he forgot it in game number 1 as well, and he doesn't have it again here. That's going to be something he kind of needs.
He didn't sign that bill. His soldiers are going to have to deal with it with the less health. They are moving out here. Stim has been completed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yep.
And +1 attack. I got to be honest with you, actually, the +1 attack wasn't started in the most prompt of fashion, so he's actually a little bit disjointed in a lot of these timings, to be honest with you. But there is a drop coming in, and it will be picked up by that all-seeing eye, the observers.
Yeah, 2 observers there, making sure he does have this right flank covered as he moves his units back into the main base. Pilot does get picked up on the right-hand side. Hallucinated Phoenix making his way into the main base, but nice blink forward here.
Really? I cannot believe he's going for this attack. I mean, it was picked up. He knew it. He flew past the cannon and units already there. He's doing some damage here. The photon overcharge should focus down on those medevacs, and I think Sjo's made a huge mistake. He just lost 2 medevacs. I think he killed a couple of zealots, question mark. He peeled off the shields on a Colossus, but otherwise, he got brutalized.
Yeah, this is the perfect time to just go ahead and expand if you're Harstem, to be honest. Losing so much there by Sjow, that's lowered his army supply by so much. It's the perfect time for Harstem to just take an expansion, get up the Twilight Council, move over to the Forge, a second Forge, that is.
Yeah.
Nice play.
There is that +1 attack. I like that Harstem did not make the rookie mistake to be like, oh, I got a big victory, move out on the map, because a lot of times what happens then is a drop just goes in your base again, and while Sjow would be behind in units because of the mobility of those medevacs, and we can actually see that idea being loaded up right now, they do so much damage, but there's not as much in the way of a response here from Harstem. Sjow being so aggressive, that factory will end up actually dying. But between that cannon and the few units here, well, I don't know, actually. Sjow's getting some damage in.
He is getting some damage in, but these zealots are going to be more than enough if they can actually catch up to these Marauders Marines. Photon overcharge not quite ready. So got to be careful not to lose a Forge or something down the back here.
He's going further in. That's such high risk, low reward, in my opinion. He should be able to get out of here, but I guess on this map, if you notice, there's not a whole lot of empty space behind those main bases. Like, your medevacs could get hit by warped-in stalkers, and like I said, he makes it out just fine. You'll notice those medevacs are very healthy, but in a different scenario, maybe Harstem warps in 5 or 6 stalkers, and all of a sudden we're talking about a different game.
Temple Archives has just now come down for Harstem, making his way over there, and I think he's in a really good situation here. The second Engineering Bay Armory is missing here from Sjow, only has +1 attack. He's making a few mistakes here. It's not like any major mistakes, it's just a lot of small ones, which are adding up to quite a big...
I think when you point out that he's not even starting, like, there's +1 armor.
Okay, so he does have
there's +2 attack. Again, disjointed, though. This could have been about 30, 40 seconds faster, and that's a big, big deal when your Protoss player is really featuring upgrades. I mean, there's going to be a gigantic window of time here where it's 1 attack Terran versus 2-2 Protoss. Guess what? Those Protoss units are powerful in that situation.
A drop attempt inside the main base, while then a drop attempt on the 3rd base. Harstem covering all angles here. Yeah,
great defense so far. I love that he has the Stalkers in his main base because that's where the meat of the drop was going to be, so you want to keep it out altogether. He had a Templar for feedback, and then he has no anti-air with his army over here, but that's where the Colossi is. So if there was ever a time where Sjow's going to try to be fancy, the Colossus would make up the difference for the lack of Stalkers.
So all Harstem really needs to do, if I'm not mistaken now, is just sit back and defend for a good 5 minutes and wait till he gets up to 3-3, get stormed down, and then move out. And so far, he's achieving that very thing. He's defending well.
Well, Sjow's kind of doing the work for him. There's going to be a drop at the 3rd, so a few more probes will die. This is nice for Sjow. And it's at the low cost of like a scouting Marine dying at the natural. So this is where Sjow starts to do well for himself. But to your point, if Sjow continues to be inconsistent with the upgrades, 3-3 is going to be devastating. It's going to be like 2 attack, 1 armor versus 3-3. And it feels like Harstem is realizing that Sjow's kind of doing the work for him. A lot of these drops have done nothing except for like chip up the paint jobs on these medevacs or lose them altogether. And Harstem all the while is building up a very powerful composition of Colossus and Templar.
All right, well, there's that +3 armor coming down here for Harstem, and that's probably when he's going to want to go. He hasn't started to re-short Storm. He's actually just going straight over to Archons.
That's a good start. Strange.
I mean, when you go double Forge, I guess it is nice to hit with a good 3-3 timing with Archons, right? Because they do take effect from these upgrades.
Sure. A little bit, though, but not the armor, you know?
Yeah. But he's got to be careful, because if there's too many Vikings and he just sits down on gateway units...
Right.
Must be super, super careful here, especially because there are quite a few Ghosts coming in already.
Yeah.
And if they get the EMPs down onto these Archons...
There is a Storm there now, but I do agree with you. I feel like it should have been Storm into Archons. That gives you the ability to really feedback the drops, but then allows you to take a 4th. I don't know that Harstem's looking for the fastest 4th. He's actually adding more gateways as he exponentially starts to mine from his 3rd more effectively. And he does have some early Templar down, so they're going to get some juice running here for themselves. But these are all things considered. They're not early Ghosts, but the number of Ghosts is a little bit staggering. We're looking at like 8 or 9 by 16 minutes. That's quite a bit. That's happy level if I've ever seen it.
Happy does love his Ghosts. So at this point now, Sjow hasn't really, I mean, drops can occur, but because they haven't done anything and he hasn't actually damaged his units, one feedback will kill this, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, it's like the most watch drop ever, too.
Yeah.
It actually, like, high-fived 2 observers.
Boop, boop.
Do you make that sound, too?
We synchronize that one. Hey.
Nice. I love that. All right. And this, you know what? One of the criticisms, not necessarily criticisms, but I guess the detriments of Sjow is he's known to be a slower player, so I feel like a lot of those actions are queued up. And unlike Select, who would be like watching its every move, but then also watching everything else, those kind of things will happen. Feedback, queued up drops. But we're going to have to see if Sjow can get it done with Ghost, because that's really the strength of his army. It's not in his upgrades. It's not in his composition. It's in his Ghost. If he can get the EMPs down and render the Colossus useless and peel the shields off and the energy off this Templar, this army from Sjow is very scary. His
chance to take a lead in this game, he just never hit the right drop. He's going to have to play a straight-up game. And we are going to have an attack come in here. High Templar do have Storm now.
Oh, good snipes going down. No EMPs just yet. Notice there's only one Colossus at this point in time for Harstem, and I think that's a very... I mean, he's got a second one, seconds away from coming out. But right now, a lot of Protoss would be adding on their, like, 4th or 5th Colossus, a very scary number. But he only has 1 or 2. And the reason I point that out is because, again, if you don't have the Colossus for your AoE, it becomes the Templar's really important job, which is already important. So if Sjow can get those EMP/snipes down, and I mean, as I say that, I actually think there's no Templar with this army. There's none. I feel like Show's going to maul this over. Okay, there's 3.
It is 3-3 versus 2-1 still.
Yeah, well, watch the angle and the EMPs.
Yeah.
Only
be careful here.
I mean, he's going to have to land Storm. He does have 3 Templar walking in here. Those Marauders got forgotten, a little bit silly. And Show's going to back up. I don't blame him. This is a late 4th from Harstem. And behind that, we already have macro orbitals being added on to a 4th base with a planetary from Sjow. So Sjow is well ahead economically.
All right, so here, Harstem's starting to bank up a bit of money, being at 200 supplies. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to an engagement, and those 3...
Oh, my God.
Well, at least he gets a good couple of storms before they die on the Vikings, I suppose. Best of a bad situation there.
Yeah, actually, you're right. A little bit of a mistake from Sjow. He should have realized that those were exposed Templar and then only let the 3 Marauders go forward, not his entire army. The storms did actually whittle down the otherwise small count of Vikings.
The probes.
One developing story here that 4th does get canceled is that there are more Colossus being added as second robo as well. Well, I guess just the 2, but with only like 5 Vikings, that's not a lot of anti-air. And if he maxes out on that, which he has, he'll be in trouble.
Yeah, Show's played this out really nicely. His positioning's always been better than Harstem's, and he's always getting, good chances to bring down the 4th base, to get the High Templar down. We're going to see this movement down to this 3rd base. This could be devastating for one way or the other. Oh, he's getting EMP'd. Oh my gosh, Harstem.
The angle is so good for Sjow.
Wow.
That's not even close, ladies and gentlemen. Not even close. And Harstem, one bad fight after an immaculate, beautiful early game, and he's looking at being eliminated. I mean, I don't see how he comes back from this. I really don't.
Oh, a couple of High Templars come down, hopefully for a good storm. There is a good storm, but the 3rd base is going to go down after the 4th being cancelled, and Sjow takes a 40 supply lead here. And that's just extended even further, 50-60 supply lead as he adds on his new unit. Yeah. And it looks like we very well may be having a Swedish player in the quarterfinals, and that guy is going to be Team Properties Sjow, who's dealing with the counterattacks finally but surely. But this kind of lead is going to be very difficult to break for Harstem.
Really nicely done by Sjow. He waited to have that right composition. He had the patience to realize, you know what? I don't need to act for as long as this Protoss is on 3 bases. I will be able to drown them out in my economy. My upgrades will have a chance to catch up. But then when that 4th base went down from Harstem, he evaluated, you know what? Your army is not as good as mine. I'm going to use that as a trigger point and move forward. And we can see that it was to great effect. This army in the middle is in trouble.
Yeah, this army's in the middle. It's going to get surrounded here. A couple of storms come down. The Vikings come in. Only a single Colossus here. And Sjow is just crushing everything here. Another Colossus comes from the left-hand side, or right-hand side, should I say. Does fall down. Nice and simple.
That's
GG. Sjow moves on to the quarterfinals. He gets himself $1,500 to put in his pocket. He gets some WCS points. And he also gets the chance to play against Startel Life, everybody's dream.
Oh, jeez.